और अमित जो है ऑनलाइन का ही स्टूडेंट था। मेरा कोई बहुत अच्छा ओपिनियन ऑनलाइन के बारे में होता नहीं है, एंड ही आल्सो एग्रीज कि ऑनलाइन में स्टूडेंट्स जो है वो सीरियस होते नहीं हैं अनलेस दे आर IITians। उनकी हैबिट होती है हर चीज़ को, वर्ड निकला मुंह से तो फॉलो इट। इन्हें जो है लास्ट ईयर ही सेंट मी अ मैसेज, उनका था द नारायण अमित गॉट AIR 289 दिस ईयर, काइंडली सेव दिस नंबर 257 इन एंथ्रोपॉलॉजी। मैंने उसको रिस्पॉन्ड किया, नॉट बैड, इम्प्रूव एटलीस्ट बाय 50 मार्क्स, गॉड ब्लेस यू। 257 306 है, एक नंबर GST में चला गया है, बट स्टिल वी शुड बी प्राउड ऑफ हिम। और स्कोर जो है खैर अब तो एवरीथिंग जो कुछ भी है वो थिंग्स ऑफ द पास्ट हो गई, लेकिन वन थिंग आई डोंट रेलिश दिस टाइम कि हर सब्जेक्ट के टॉपर जो हैं उनका 305, 306, 307, जबकि एंथ्रो हमेशा ऊपर रहता था। ये ऑनलाइन का एक कह सकते हैं कि इफेक्ट हो सकता है। और एक UPSC बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम करती है, जब वो डेट शीट बनाते हैं तो 5 डे डेट शीट होती है, और जब वो फाइनल डिक्लेयर करते हैं तो ऑप्शनल में 5 डे 6 डे का गैप दे देते हैं। सो यू टेक इट फ्रॉम मी कि एंथ्रो का रिजल्ट एकदम से मतलब शूट अप हो जाएगा, क्योंकि इट इज द ओनली सब्जेक्ट दैट यू कैन रिवाइज इन ए डे अगर आपने ढंग से तैयार किया है। अब 5 दिन दोगे तो उसमें तो मैथ्स वाले भी अच्छा रिवाइज कर लेंगे, पॉलिटिकल साइंस वाले, कोई भी सब्जेक्ट 5 दिन में रिवाइज हो जाएगा। और एक प्रॉब्लम कैंडिडेट की क्या होती है कि आपको जितने ज़्यादा दिन मिलेंगे, है ना, 5 दिन मिले, चलो 2 दिन रिलैक्स कर लो, 3 दिन में कर लो। और लेकिन अगर आप 5 दिन में 3 बार रिवाइज कर रहे हैं तो देन यू फाइंड द डिफरेंस। ठीक है, एक तो मोमेंटो जो है, जितने भी बच्चे IAS होते हैं एंड दे आर वेलकम हियर। शिवा माय फ्रेंड जो है मेरा फेवरेट है, तो मैं डिपेंड करता है, मैंने पूछा भी नहीं नारायण से, बिकॉज वो खुद ही नारायण है, तो तो जो भी दिया जाएगा वो सही रहेगा। ठीक है, और एक हमारा एक इंसिग्निया होता है, एक ब्रिटिश टाइम का एक कॉइन 100 years ओल्ड और ओल्डर कॉइन जो हम देते हैं। और इस बार मैंने एक चीज़ और सोची, क्योंकि मैं अभी बस्तर गया था, आपको पता है, कल ही लौटा हूँ, टूल्स का डायग्राम आपके पास था। एक जो टूल मुझे सबसे अच्छा लगा, मैं चाहूँगा कि ये लोग वो पहले उसको फोकस करके दिखाएं। भाई साहब जी, हाँ, आप लोग पता नहीं पहचान पाएंगे कि नहीं पहचान पाएंगे। Yes, I think that was the fantastic one that I got there, and still very sharp borders are there. तो जो ही मेरे को मिला मैंने तभी डिसाइड कर लिया था कि ये मैं अमित को दूंगा, है ना। तो जो पहला काम है शुभस्य शीघ्रम, तो ये तो पहले तो आप खुद अपने हाथ से भरिए, सर को दो, है ना। कुछ लोग जो हैं यकीन नहीं करते जी सर, और मुझे लगता है कि इंस्टीट्यूट से इससे बड़ा रिवार्ड तो हो ही नहीं सकता, दैट इंस्टीट्यूट रिटर्न्स यू व्हाट यू पेड। उसका एक बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा है, ये पब्लिसिटी हो जाती है हमारी। मैंने पिछले जब आए थे लोग, मैं कहा था कि आप ताजमहल दे दो, आप लाल किला दे दो, कुछ भी दे दो, पर तो डिस्प्यूटेड स्ट्रक्चर हो गए, वो तो दे नहीं सकते। पर इंस्टीट्यूट तो महाजन होता है, उससे ले लेना वापस, इससे बड़ी बात तो हो ही नहीं सकती। तो बट इस बार अकेले अमित हैं, SC ST OBC वाले तो हैं, पर मतलब जो जनरल कैटेगरी में कट ऑफ आता है उन्हीं लोगों को मिलता है। और क्योंकि हम 3 साल 2 साल के बाद फर्स्ट टाइम ऑफलाइन कर रहे हैं. So I think you have a lot of promise to share. सबसे पहले वो ठीक है. तो पहले तो मैं इसको जरा फोकस करो तो मज़ा आ जाए. हैं, बहुत सुंदर टूल है ये. ले लो फोटो, क्योंकि उसके बाद रहना नहीं है, वो सर के पास चला जाएगा. मैंने उनसे पूछा, इन्होंने कहा कि मेरे को बहुत इंटरेस्ट है प्री हिस्ट्री में. तो इससे अच्छी फिर गिफ्ट हो ही नहीं सकती. ठीक है. तो ये हो गई एक चीज़. सर
थैंक यू.
ये हो गई दूसरी चीज़. अमाउंट देख लो ठीक है ना.
थैंक यू सर.
और ये जो है मैंने आपसे बताया था, जो ये है 1903 का कॉइन है ये. हाँ, पर एक चीज़ जो है जो परमानेंटली रहेगी, आप किसी को गिफ्ट नहीं करेंगे. आप घर में जो भी आपके पास पाइस प्लेस होगा, होली प्लेस होगा, है ना. ठीक है, आपको भी आशीर्वाद दे रहे हैं.
So, very good morning to all who are present today, and I'm very happy to be at Vaids and with sir, because I have watched so many videos of sir, and I'm meeting you only for the second time in real life, so I'm very happy with that. And I think that I had seen a video of him in 2019 May or something, and I was very inspired by the sir, the way he teaches. So I'm really happy to be here. So I'll give my insights about the exam, and I'll try to not repeat what others have already said or some previous toppers have already said. As I have said that, as sir has said that we must build on the experiences of others. So Newton once said that I can see farther because I stand on the shoulders of giants. So like that, in anthropology, many people have already put up their notes and they have done a lot of good work. So I have relied on their notes, their strategy, and their insights. So definitely I have followed what sir has said, but I have also used my own intellect. If I found something different or something good from other places also, definitely I have added that. And you can say the more variety you bring, the more uniqueness it is there, and that is also very helpful. So I think every 14 days, every one of us should watch some talk of Akshat Jain or Shubham Kumar or any other person also, like Koyashi Harsha, because it is not easy to digest this entire talk in one sitting. You have to keep on watching each time 2-3 points. When you do one difficult chapter, definitely you can watch the topper talk, and that is very helpful. So I used to watch a lot of topper talks. I think I watched more than 50 talks, and sir's all videos I watched several times, and I could literally remember what he's saying and when he's going to crack a joke also. So I was very involved in that. So I'll tell you which are the videos that especially you should watch. So I think there's one by Koyashi. So I used to watch the video of Koyashi Harsha. Then I think Ashima Mittal is there. Then of course Akshat Jain also, I watched several times. I watched this video. Then Shubham Kumar. Then Ishan Jaiswal. So these videos definitely, at least you can watch and keep on cycling through them. It is very essential. And if you want some notes of some person, I have found that the best notes, most comprehensive, are by Mandarji and Patki. So these are the very good notes of him. And I have also given a talk at L2A. So definitely I have covered in many detail that how I have done many things. And that also you can watch. There's also talk that is going to come at L2A. So these are the primary things you should keep in mind. And I had watched them many times, so please do watch them. And one thing I noticed is that many people, they do not watch this talk. For example, I collected a statistic that Shubham Kumar's video is in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. So part 1 is seen by around 50,000 people, but part 2 is seen only by 10,000 people. Oh, sorry, 5,000 people. So the people who are actually seeing the entire video is very less. So please do watch it. And since you are all studying at Vaids, And Akshat Jain sir has written his book, and that is, I think, very essential, and it is a very nice book. But if you simply stick to the book, then it becomes like a crowd mentality that you might get average marks because all people are writing the same answer. So you can add 2 or 3 unique aspects from your own WhatsApp group or from your own notes or other topper copies which you see and refer, and definitely that will add value to your answer. So like this entire book, I had personally read the entire book, and wherever I found value addition was there required, I definitely had taken that and used that for a thing. And especially when you're not able to frame an answer, this book provides a guide. But don't be like that you're simply copy pasting the entire answer in your own words. You have to do some basic value addition. So this book is definitely very useful. And one of the things about anthropology is that if you do preparation well, और अगर आपने अच्छे से preparation किए तो आपको पता होगा कि आपको अच्छे marks आ रहे हैं. For example, this time I was expecting around 285 plus, and I got 306. So it is a very good score. But one thing is that in GS, in your essay and in your interview, there is an element of luck that is involved for getting marks. And I cannot deny that, but the element of luck involved in optional for getting marks is much lesser. So you can actually predict your marks in optional, and that is why it becomes more essential to do your optional properly. So all my notes, which including all the value additions from D.K. Bhattacharya videos, who is the father of Indian archaeology, and whatever sir has recommended, all that I have validated, and most of my good notes that I have made, I have put on the Telegram channel. The link of the channel is this. So all my notes, all my value additions, definitely whatever I have taken from anywhere, I have just put on the channel, and it is very easy to use, so you will find it. One more thing, since sir gave me a moment of Lord Shiva, I can narrate one incident that I think on Monday the result had come, and since Monday is also the day of Lord Shiva, my mother told that day that like I have got Lord Shiva in my dreams, and I think that you are going to get a good result. So I am very thankful to sir for giving me a moment of Lord Shiva also. And I think my mother had some foresight. Maybe that's why I got a good rank. One more unique thing that I found about sir is that he will tell you which books to refer and which books not to refer. For example, I have personally not referred IGNU or EPG Pathshala or PINA. I have not referred these books. And if sir tells you that you do not need to refer to a source, or you do not refer to that source, and if sir tells you that do refer a source, you should refer that source. But I found that people do the opposite. When he tells not to refer PINA, people do refer PINA, and when he tells don't refer to anything else, people do like that. So one of the things is that in optional, you should always try to be a topper of your optional. That way, if you get less marks in either subject or you're getting average marks in either subject, definitely that is also covered. So always try to be the topper, and I got 306 this time, and that is a good score only. But definitely there is a scope for increasing marks, because if you see the highest of both papers, I think it's around 320. But nobody has got 320, but if you do well in both the papers, you can get 320. And definitely that will help you get a very good rank, because it is optional that is the rank decider. And this has been said innumerable times by many people that the more you get in optional, the more certainty that you will get a very good rank. So I'll share some insights about how my online batch was and how I benefited from Vaids. Yes, because I think many people are from this institute and they will benefit a lot from this. So like sir has been very clear that he is a coach, he is not a teacher. So there is a difference between a coach and teacher. And that is one of the unique things I found, is that like when you're doing some topic, sir will say that do this, and then get the answer verified or get it checked. But I have found personally that not even 10% of the people are doing this. Like if he says go and watch D.K. Bhattacharya videos and for this video, I don't think more than 10% of the people are actually doing this, and that is a bad thing because he has told you to do it. And one more observation I made is that many IITians at Vaids are getting very good score. And I have analyzed that the reason for this is that once sir tells to do this thing, they will go home and actually do it. I think this is a practice, but many people are not doing it, and that is the reason why they might fall back in the syllabus. Then they get little demotivated, and then they may not get that motivation to keep up the complete rigor. So when sir tells to do something, please do it in class or otherwise. And I would do what sir has told. I would watch his videos. If you are I have found that even if sir posts the link of the video, still people do not watch it. And I think that should not be the case, and you should do it. And now this is not a 11th or 12th class preparation where everything will be spoon fed to you. So I think that everything in anthropology or social sciences is understandable at your own level. So otherwise you can refer some other sources, try to simplify the matter. So there is nothing that you will not understand, but only you need to put the time and you need to put the effort and you need the proper direction. And definitely since sir gives that, you need to follow him in this aspect. And with regarding to answer writing groups, like I would make my own answer. I was not much involved in the group, but some groups are very active and some groups are not active. So irrespective of whether you're in a group or not, others are cooperating or not, don't pick fights with them, but try to do your own answers. Like I used to mostly study on my own individually, and I found that individual study is suitable for me. Irrespective of how you do it, you must do your answers and you can get them evaluated by sir also. And one of the unique things that sir is very kindly is providing is that he will allow you to repeat the course and also he'll let you join the test series also. So I think I had made use of both of them, and I think I had done sir's course twice. In the sense that like in some aspects I had done very good in the first time, but I was not clear about some aspects, so I could repeat the course online also, and that was very convenient for me. Because if I hear a thing twice, I think the ingrainment is there, especially some topics like 9.5 race, where sir gives a very long discussion on how race is there, how do they develop. It's like 2 hours video will complete the entire race in a discussion format, and you can frame your answers. So there is a logical connectivity between the first line to the last line. So such kind of topics, if you hear for second time, I think definitely it has very big advantage. And I had done that. And test series also, about sir I found unique is that he will tell you exactly what to write. For example, what is the intro? So one example I can say is that what are the factors in synthetic theory of evolution that are applicable to a man? So he said there is a one word answer for this, and I was thinking what it could be the answer, but the answer is microevolution. So like all the 5 factors that only affect humans is microevolution. So synthetic theory applicable to man is microevolution. So such kind of insights sir definitely provides, which are very high level and very appropriate to the thing asked. So definitely I benefited a lot from this. And as I've already mentioned, sir's video I have watched many times on YouTube. Please watch it, especially when I was not in a mood to study and I was feeling a little tired. I was watching introductory video on marriage, that one where he will give all those things. And other videos also I watched, especially the terminology videos where you need to keep on revising about the things, and that is very essential. So please watch his videos on YouTube. And I also used to watch his channel on a Nai Baat Nai Shuruaat. I think sir gets tired of posting about it and people still don't watch it. But I think many of the things are relevant also because he has spoken about caste, especially paper 2, about the ashramas. So please do watch it. Please do watch it. And that is also a very good channel. Few insights that are not found anywhere I found from there, and I had put on paper 2 also. And you can use your own intellect. It is not that you must follow sir blindly, but when he's telling something logical, definitely you must listen to experience. Sir is 70 years old and he like 69, I think so. 69 years young. So sir has a lot of experience. And I am generally very passionate about teaching and studying and reading all that stuff. But I have never found that the person who is teaching is himself giving us case study. So I think sir needs a round of applause for that. And you see almost all the famous people of anthropology sir knows, and in fact he has edited many of their books. I think D.K. Bhattacharya book also sir you have edited, and I found that to be very fascinating that you are reading anthropology directly from the horse's mouth. So I have not found this anywhere, even though I have studied from many teachers. And regarding the WhatsApp group, the value addition sir gives, you must also add. If not, you can add all of them. At least try to keep some flair that occasionally you are picking up some points and adding your note. And the newspaper articles sir gives, he would give many articles. I would read around 50% of them, whichever I found were relevant to my thing. Like for example, if some article is coming on health repeatedly, so I would not read that, but most of the articles I found that you could simply rely on sir's newspaper. And for my interview preparation, I had read all of these articles for the last 3 months. For the interview preparation, that had helped me a lot because sir reads a lot of newspapers and he puts them online, so our work is reduced in that aspect. And one more joke I'll tell is that whenever I used to call sir, he would not remember my name. So I said that I have to do something so that sir remembers my name. And so now I think I've got good track. So sir will remember my name now. And regarding to the WhatsApp group, so as I already mentioned, you must use WhatsApp. I think some people say that WhatsApp will distract me, but I think that is a suboptimal strategy in today's age when you need a lot of news and current affairs also. So please do use WhatsApp and just join sir, whatever the sir's group is there that you can join, and you should use current affairs from that. Don't be aloof. Like if there is an issue with WhatsApp, you must learn to control it rather than simply cutting it off and not getting the updates. So please use WhatsApp group. That is very helpful. One more thing about online and offline I have found is that in offline people are able to discuss with sir more freely, because on phone he can only talk with one person, but in offline he can speak with many people and he is able to give a lot of insights, and there are discussion groups so you can discuss amongst each other, and you can also like come here, sit here, then other like-minded people are there, so you will be able to form answers and motivation comes. For people who are online, it is I think much tougher to do that, because after sir's class is over, you are on your own. And the way sir's class goes is that suppose fossils is covered, then he will give you exactly 4 days, because from his experience he knows it takes 4 days. If he gives 5 days, people will take rest for the first day and they will not do that. So he gives exactly the correct amount of time, and you must do that. And sir has said that when you're doing anthro in like very intense manner, referring 4 or 5 books to get the perfect answer, making your answer, I think you should primarily focus on anthro only at that point of time, because doing GS and anthro at the same time is very difficult. This is in similar line to what sir also says that when you write the prelims exam, at least a reasonable amount of preparation of anthropology or optional essential. Otherwise, what will happen is that you will get so score like 260 in anthropology if you are not completely prepared. Then what will happen is that you will get a rank of 300, so you will not get your preferred service. So whenever you are writing the prelims exam, it is essential that you are at such a level that you are able to cover in the next 3 months. It is possible to do, but the stress and pressure is so much that people are very generally scared in 3 months. So try to be only attempt the prelim exam when you are sure that at least a reasonable preparation of optional is there, which you can manage in the next 3 months. Then even if you get 280 plus, at least somewhere reasonable place you will land up. Otherwise, many people who can clear the exam in 1 or 2 attempts, that's why they take 5 or 6 attempts, because they get stuck in the cycle. And it is very difficult to exit the cycle once you enter it. So please bear this in mind. And online batches, they require especially more dedication, because the interaction is there, how much ever anyone tries, but the interaction in online batches is slightly more limited. The content is very similar, so please be very focused, especially those who are in online batches. That would be my message to them. So now, one of the insights that I can add is that how did I increase my marks from 257 in the last attempt to 306 in this attempt? Because like many people in anthropology who are reading basic books and doing some value addition also, they are stuck in this bracket of 220 to 260. So to get a very preferred choice, service choice, you need to go at least 280 plus to get your preferred choice. So how to do that? Definitely, I will throw some insights, quick insights on that. So firstly, the entire thing is that you should not leave any parts of the syllabus. So firstly, you should complete the entire syllabus, because otherwise this has 2 aspects. Firstly, it helps in interlinking various topics of anthropology, and the other aspect is that it helps you choose your questions. For example, if you know 2 questions but you're not sure about the language chapter, one simple question is asked on language, but the other 2 are on archaeology and you know very well. If you don't complete the syllabus, then you will not know. But one advisory is that sir sometimes tells which topics you can ignore. For example, like he has said that Grimaldi and Chancelet need not be studied, or Dall's law, Cobb's law need not be studied. That I put on my channel what sir has said, and definitely those you can ignore. But apart from that, try to complete the entire syllabus. And I would try to attempt more questions. I would try to attempt more questions from fossils, archaeology, primates, and theories. I feel that Like these are very scoring topics, definitely, there's no doubt about it. But even I feel that some questions of physical also are not particularly scoring. In the sense, what I mean is that if you choose a simple question like what are chromosomal aberrations, I think this is not a great question to attempt because there are only 4 aberrations and you will draw the diagram and you will give the frequency of each of them and 1 or 2 maybe novel insights you will give. So unless avoidable, I would suggest you not to choose kind of questions. In contrast, if you choose questions like Neolithic of Far East, sorry, Near East. Here you can mention sites like Kettle Hayok, Ali Ghosh. Of course, Natufian was asked, that's why it's very famous now, but otherwise it was a tough question that year. And Jericho. So you can clearly see that in this question, you're able to showcase your knowledge more than simply what are chromosomal aberrations. So that is why you can use this. So I would say that, but not all questions of physical are also bad because like questions like micro versus microevolution, this is a good question to attempt. So always try to attempt something from these questions. And I can say that in some ways, physically also is becoming the new social that you're not able to get very high marks. For example, if you write very well this question, I think you can get 12 or 13 out of 15 also. But if you write this question, maybe you get 9 or 10 out of 15. And I have found that those who attempted this question this year paper, almost most of them have not crossed 150. So I think there is some question selection becomes especially important in paper 1. But in paper 2, the role is slightly less because all the questions are very generic in paper 2. So you can choose any question you like and then you can attempt it. But in paper 1, it's a technical paper. You need to put technical points. Paper 2 is like more applied. You can drag the matter on a little bit more and do that. But in paper 1, since it's more technical, the question selection becomes more important. And since my entire syllabus was complete, I could pick and choose exactly what I wanted. So one of the, now I'll go for the third point. One of the things is that you need to distinguish an answer, the basic one. For example, what is marriage payments is asked. All the 6 types of marriage payments, everyone will put. But you need to, in every answer, try to ensure that at least 3 or 4 things are standing out which are unique or making your answer unique. Now, this is that this will catch the eye of the examiner. It could be application of a concept, a case study, example, personal example, diagram, flowchart, scholar, book, theoretical dimension, interconnection of topics, contemporary relevance, current events. All of this need not be in every question, but try to ensure that at least 3 or 4 things are there in each question so that your answer is distinguished. And I would clearly suggest you that never write a GS type answer in anthropology, even if it is something as generic as cultural diversity and multiculturalism. You must try to bring in some concepts of anthropology. This was asked in paper 2, I think, this year. And you must bring in an anthropological perspective or some application of anthropology. Something or the other you have to bring that actually brings some specificity to your answer. If you write a general studies answer, you might get 4 on 10. One more thing is that due to vast reading, like I would also sometimes mention the source where I got the material from. For example, I think that Kaka report is a very good report. It is one of the most comprehensive reports on tribal situation that is ever written. And even after 8 years, I think that it is still very much relevant nowadays. And all the possible suggestions about tribes have already been given by Kaka report. So, sir also said in the class that you should, even there is a Abhay Bhang report on tribal health. And there is now the Idate Commission report on denotified tribes. Almost all the suggestions in this report are also in Kaka report. So I would actually write 1 or 2 times Kaka report to show that I have read the Kaka report. But many of the suggestions I would write in the name of Abhay Bhang report or Idate Commission report. So it adds a variety that shows that you have also seen other things. Plus, I have referred the MOTA annual report and I have put this on my channel, the summary. Definitely you can use it. And even if you have read an old report, like I read 19 to 20. So this is also not an issue because you don't need exactly latest data in anthropology. Even 1, 2, 3, 4 years data also is fine and it's not penalized like unlike political science, where you need the latest contemporary case studies. So if I were to write the exam this year, I would still use this data and it would be fine. But this is especially essential because you can know the schemes of the government, the organization of the ministry, and when many initiatives are there of the government. So all that I have put on the Telegram channel, definitely you can refer that. So Ember and Ember, if sir tells you to read some chapter or some important chapters are there, definitely you can write. And I also used to write that from Ember and Ember I have taken and this topic. So it shows that you have read some actual book of anthropology and not just materials. And sir also puts case studies from EPW and down to earth. So at least try to mention 1 or 2 times in your answer that you have taken a case study from this, because it shows that you are having a wide range of sources, and that also adds to your marks. And I definitely DK Bhattacharya sir videos I have watched a lot, and that is why I have a lot of interest in archaeology. And I was very happy sir gave me a scraper, a middle Paleolithic tool, lake tool. And then also, like I remember that even if you put letters from B.D. Sharma and you can quote examples from O.P. Chaudhary, I think Shubham Kumar had said this, so I had picked it up last year. And you should also quote some data occasionally. Some data is also found in Peoples of India project. That is also very essential. You can quote from that. Even NCST report I had just gone through once, National Commission for Social. You don't need to read the entire report, but try to use these terms in your answer so that at least some diversity is there about the sources you have taken. And in paper 2, if some concept is there, definitely you have to use Indian scholars like K.S. Singh or some anthropologists. Apart from that, also you have to use and quote them also. So this is all in addition to what the previous toppers have said. So for example, if Akshat Jain has said that Ralph Linton has given a concept in Study of Man 1936. So that you have to do. Apart from that, you can do this also to do that. For example, each year you need to improve on the previous year answer. So for example, if you use my notes, they might work for 1 year, but after that, definitely you need to add your own validation and someone else will do better than that. So maybe the life cycle for anyone notes is 1 or 2 years and you need to keep on updating them. So one of the other things, now the next thing about what improved from last time is that time management in the paper was, I think for me it was ironclad. For example, in my mind I was crystal clear that for a 10 marker, I will give 7 minutes. For 15 marker, I will give 10 minutes. And for 20 marker, I will give 14 minutes. So the total will come out, I think 174 minutes like this. And 6 minutes I would choose for question selection. I have found that out of all the paper, the 20 marks are most easiest to attempt because there are 4 pages. For this there are 3. For this there are 2. So even if you take more time in the initial beginning, once you get the flow of what to write in the answer, and definitely the next lot of space you can cover in short amount of time. So whenever I was running short of time, or I would initially start with 20 marker. I would not suggest to start with 10 marker because they need technical knowledge and you need to condense the material, and some of the topics are tricky also. So start with 20 marker, or whenever you are running behind time, you should always do the 20 marker. I think they are the easiest to attempt 20 markers. And the questions are known in 20 markers. Some new novel innovation will not come in 20 markers. So like I can say that I got 166 in the first paper, but I had not found it very stressful actually, because most of the things I had already remembered. And if you're taking time in writing the answer, it highlights that you're not remembered the answer completely, and that's why you should revise initially and try to remember all the points. If you remember all the points, then it is not very stressful to write the paper. And I also used to do that. Like I had a whiteboard at home, and I would just go through the notes and just start scribbling all the value addition points like this, then erase it, and then keep on scribbling more points. And this helped me revise. For example, I would some diagram is there. For example, like factors of natural selection is there, like this, like this, like this. 1, 2, 3 is that. Then it leads to microevolution, then race formation, then maybe macroevolution. So this diagram I used to practice many times, and I also drawn it in the real paper. Or some other diagrams are there, like this one, segmentary lineage and territoriality, like this one. So this fight, this will fight. All these diagrams I had practiced before and I had scribbled many times, and that also was helpful for me. So, like, I think one of the major demands of anthropology is that the data is very rich and your answer is dense. Dense in the means that it can be dense in many ways. It can be dense when you apply the concept, or when you give a book, or when you give a new concept, or you give a field work or application case study, anything. So some highlights should be there, and that is very essential. One more thing about the exam I found out is that, like, if this were to be the number of attempts, and this is the rate of selection. So definitely in the first attempt, the rate of selection is very less, and most people would get selected in this kind of bracket. Almost 80% would get selected in 2 to 4th attempt, I guess. So even though people are not working as hard as here as they are, so definitely I think To get less than 80 rank, definitely some role of luck is there. But I think any person should give at least 2 to 3 serious attempts, because the probability increases in this bracket. And you can see many people, when this was the phase when they did a lot of the hard work, but here they did not get the result. When they're not doing much hard work, when they're actually relaxed, not practice much of test series, here they're getting the result. So definitely, I think this one aspect of the exam I wanted to highlight. So I think my biggest strength is that I do not practice much of answer writing. I make very good answers at home, and I do all the hard work before the exam so that I do not read much in the exam. And all the answers I have prepared, and I'm very fast at writing. Like, I think my speed is it's a very good speed, and I write very fast. I do not need to think much because I already remembered everything, and in the paper it is relatively effortless. And apart from the things that sir has given, I have not referred any coaching manual or any current affairs for anthropology. I think that the role of, if you put current affairs in answer, it is a good thing. But current affairs is not the only way to value add in your answer. There are other ways also. So definitely, if you can put current affairs, well and good. But I did not read any magazine or a manual for current affairs. And one of the other things was that in this attempt, I had attempted 500 out of 500. All questions I had attempted because the topics were known to me, and my syllabus preparation also was heavy. For example, last time when I had got 257, I had only attempted 450 out of 500. So definitely, if you attempt more questions, that also has that. But one caution is that do not bluff the examiner, especially in question number 1, 2, and 3. Do not try to bluff the examiner, because he gets a very negative mindset about you, and that is not good. So in the initial questions, be especially careful. And there is a difference between writing broadly and bluffing. What I mean by this is that, like last year, Shubham Kumar had said that he had just known that Natufian culture is in the Levant region, and it is between Mesolithic and I think so Paleolithic, something like this. Mesolithic and something he said, and based on the subheadings like tool diagrams, this climate, type of social organization, introduction, what is the sites that are there drawing the map, he was able to construct a good answer. So this is not bluffing, this is writing broadly. Bluffing is like when I do not know what is liminality, and I'm just trying to insert my own views about what is that. Similarly, in this year also, there was one question I think which was not much expected, but it was on thermoluminescence. So in my notes, I had written about thermoluminescence, but it was hardly 3 or 4 lines about thermoluminescence. But the basic process, I was clear that you heat something that will emit some energy rays, and that this energy ray, if you study, you can find out the age of the material. So based on pottery or something, you can add. So like I was able to write a 2-page answer for 10 mark, and I think I would have gotten 5 or 6 out of 10 in this, because it was a reasonable answer. First, you can start with what is chronology, artifact, all that, and what is absolute versus relative dating, the area space is eaten, and then you can mention this method. You can draw, I drew one diagram also. It's not much relevant, but I drew the diagram that electron is jumping some orbital level, then it might come down, it might release energy. This is the crystal lattice. In that lattice, free electrons are there, so it might give some energy like this. So something I tried to do and concluded that it is very essential. It is one of the latest technique, and the cost of it was very low. I think compared to other techniques, the cost of thermoluminescence is less. So all those points I mentioned, and I do not want to overdo it also. So in such kind of questions, I generally leave some space in the end so that it does not look like I am doing everything in this question also. So I would leave some space in the end for such kind of questions, but I would be able to answer very moderately. And one more thing is that, especially when sir completes a topic or when you complete a topic, always do the PYQ, especially 2013 to 2021 for you. And every 2 years, the questions tend to repeat. For example, if you are writing 2022 to 2020, 2018, this is already highlighted by previous topic, but these are essential. So at least this much, so definitely you should do well. Ideally, you can do all the PYQ. You should do all the PYQ. But at least this much as a first preference, you should definitely do. So I think Shubham Kumar sir said one more thing, that uniqueness and innovation is highly rewarded, and it differentiates your answer. So we have to think like an anthropologist and bring the anthropologist view in administration. So this is called administrative dimension. So he said, as a student of anthropology, I have observed this, you can write that. And also write, if I were to be a civil servant, I would do like this. And also you can write that we need more anthropologists in administration. So that is an indirect cue to the examiner. So please give me more marks. One more thing which I did was, in last time I also have done, this time I also done. For example, I think there is a role of short notes also. For example, if I'm doing the chapter on religion, then I would just simply write the validation point. For example, if I'm doing sacred and profane topic, I would write the criticism of sacred and profane, the concept by Goody and Tambai or someone else, Jack Goody or Alexander Goldenweiser. All those things I would just write Alexander Goldenweiser. He has said this is not correct because of this reason. So like this I would write. And almost for the entire syllabus, I had around 30 to 40 pages of short notes. So in, for example, tribal paper, I would just write the name of the tribe and what is the thing associated with them. For example, there is I think there is one Goti system of indentured labor among the Juang and Hali system among the Saharia of Rajasthan. So just I would write those kind of tribes name and make them. I try to put this on my channel also, but I would make short notes and that would prevent me from revising the entire bulky notes before the exam. And I think this I found useful. So I'll just give one insight about my favorite subject is archaeology. Since I have got a scraper also, I'll give one insight about archaeology that I have done, especially world archaeology, because people don't focus on archaeology. For example, in this year question, I'll tell exactly. There was a question on traditions of European Mesolithic. So this was the question. So what most people do is that the same thing for Indian that they have remembered, they will put the same thing for European also, but just remove the Indian names. So you can, that is one aspect of the answer, but the other aspect is that you must name the traditions. For example, in this year paper, I think 3 questions I had done especially well. One was thick description and example by Balinese cockfight. Second was micro versus micro evolution. And third was this one, European Mesolithic. Others also had done well, but I think these 3 I had written very, very good answers. And these were in the initial part of the paper. So once the examiner gets a good impression that you know anthropology well, especially are giving very good insights. So even if you write averaging little back of the answers, that is I think managed. For example, Levi-Strauss and structural analysis of kinship, I had not written a very great answer, but I think still it was manageable. Because in the initial I had written good answers. So after, apart from the tool material that you already know from Indian archaeology, at least try to remember the names of the traditions. I think Sir has told in class also, 2-3 points from each tradition. That is more than enough. For example, 9 traditions are there in European Mesolithic. Then you must know at least 2 or 3 points. Nothing. You don't need to know anything else about it. For example, in European Mesolithic, there is these are the following traditions. I just list them now so that you know the basic idea. So there is Ertobil. There is Mas de Azil. Asturia, Campignon, Maglemosian, Kitchen Midden. Then there is Tardinosian and Sovitrian. So I'll upload this in my notes, no need to worry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 traditions are there. So he is asking about European Mesolithic, so these are the 8 traditions. But if he is asking about world archaeology, one thing I found is that in world archaeology, people think that it is India plus Europe. But if you can add Africa also, I think that then it completes the answer and will get more marks. For example, in Africa, there are I think 4 traditions. Elmentaten, I think I have taken this from Akshar Jain's book, and Wilton, and Magosan, and Lupebaum. So if you can remember 1 or 2 points from this, for example, in Ertobil, it is very late phase and it is linked with Neolithic of Natufian. So what I mean by this is that, suppose this is the Europe map and this is the Levant region. So here by 10,000, we have already farming started, but So what I mean to say is that the Mesolithic here is very small because by the time the Mesolithic starts here, the Neolithic has already started and there's a diffusion towards this place. So Artobel, you will see that the layer for the Mesolithic is very small. But if you go to it, like England and other places, the layer for the Mesolithic is very large because the influence of Natufian culture is not much present there. So like this points if you can add, definitely it will add much more value to your answer. So similarly for lower Paleolithic, there are many famous sites and you should know about them, and one or two points, if you can mention on one or two sites you can mention apart from what others mentioned, that is actually very helpful. For example, all of us know Saint Abivel and Saint Ashur. I think 90% of the people do not know the difference between both of these tools. Means they can draw this is Abelian hand axe, this is Acheulean hand axe, but when is the time period? In Africa, Acheulean is much older than the Abelian of Europe. So while Abelian is coming after Acheulean, sorry, while Acheulean is much more advanced than Abelian, Acheulean of Africa is much older than Abelian. So such kind of unique dimensions are there that I think most people are not aware of. Apart from that, you have Clactonian, you have Lavalva, you have Pagdala Ace, then you have Terra Amata, then in Africa you have Oldupai Gorge, then Kenya Forest Smith, and other sites are also there. For example, you have Toralba and Umbrola. So you don't need to know everything about them, but 1, 2, 3 points each of them, if you know, you can use anywhere, and that will give a very good touch to your answer. Similarly, if you were to talk about Middle Paleolithic, there is Mousterian, Shanidar, which is found in Iraq, where the flowering offerings of the Neanderthal are there. Sangoan, I think this is near Uganda, and then Kenya / Proto-Stilbe. And many of the things I have found from D.K. Bhattacharya's sir videos, and they are exceptionally detailed in the sense that if sir is talking about level war technique, he will exactly tell you what is the level war technique, that is a very prepared core is there, and one leaf-like flake will be gotten, and the angle of star of detachment is less than 90 degrees. You will exactly tell like that. So if you can mention 1 or 2 points like this, definitely there is nothing like it. And I have gone very deeply into archaeology because I liked it a lot, and fossils also was very good, theories also was good. So I think that contributed to my marks a lot. So try to focus on fossils, theories, and archaeology. And sir is very well known for communicating very lucidly in this aspect, especially when sir said about like I was always confused like what is the difference between Australopithecines and Australopithecine. So like those kind of difference also is very useful if you know. So I think this is all I wanted to communicate, and the reason I'm not going more into detail is that already at L2A I have taken a talk for 3 hours, and I have gone into detail how to cover theories, archaeology, and fossils. So it would simply be repetition. Apart from that, what are the other unique points I wanted to highlight or re-emphasize I have shown, and what are the things that need re-emphasis also I have put. So in that sense, this talk also is very holistic. But if you want more detail, you can go to LTA talk, and that I think you will find very much detail in that. So thank you very much.
Chalo. Now, first choice people who are appearing this year, they can ask their questions.
Yeah.
Bad, you can sit and talk.
I'll stand, sir. I'm comfortable. Yeah.
When you talk about question selection in paper, how do you select?
So, like, I would generally try to choose questions from fossils, archaeology, and primates. And like the dilemma comes when you know, like for example, 2 questions very well, and you don't know 1 question very well, or here you know 3 questions in an average manner. So which one to choose? So I would assign my marks like if I were to get 12 or 8 or 12, and this I would get 9, 9, 9. So whichever I got more in that, I would choose that. So you have to assign your self marks and try to choose questions where you know more technical knowledge. So it's not that complex, but if you just follow the rule of thumb, I think you can choose the questions properly.
Online people, those who are watching online, your priority should be first, you should ask. You have also the comprehensive paper 2 day after, paper 1 day after tomorrow.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes, please tell.
Yeah, sir, as you said, that GS answer is somewhat different than optional answers. So, can you specifically elaborate what is the difference between both of them?
So, as I mentioned, that the difference is in the uniqueness or value addition that you do, and this can be anything. There has to be an anthropological bent of mind to it, and that can come from a case study, contemporary relevance, current affairs, or diagram, or flowchart, or anything. So, if you mention at least 3 to 4 things out of them, then that would make your answer an anthropological bent of mind. This is what I meant.
Is it so like it should be some data specific, like anthropology answers needs to be data specific?
So the uniqueness can come from any dimension. If you can put some theoretical dimension, opinion of scholars, or you can use your knowledge from theories or do it also. Anything is acceptable, but at least 3 to 4 things you must ensure that each answer it is there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
एनीबडी एल्स?
हेलो
ये अपना नाम भी बताते जाओ, कहाँ से बोल रहे हो ये भी बताते जाओ.
ओके am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes.
you're audible.
Yeah, I'm Sonia from Bahadurgarh, Haryana. So I have a doubt regarding value addition. Like already we have a content, certain amount of content, which is sufficient for 2 pages answer or 3 pages answer. So how do you decide like which point or which value addition you have to add in your answer and which you have to leave?
So I think it's a good question in the sense that many of my answers, even though you only need 3 pages, I would have 6 or 7 pages for the answer, and I would not be able to decide which one to put. So in the sense, I would say that once you do 1 or 2 rounds of validation, you must actually decide whether the content you have is enough before going to some other book. So I think this question most people don't ask is that I have done validation, is this enough for me in the exam or not? So you must always ask yourself a question that if I have content till here, let us say for 3.5 pages, is it enough or not? That question you must ask yourself, and I would choose the content that is more striking and highlighting. For example, if some generic content is there, that even if you miss some of the generic content, it is all right, but try to put the value addition. And what is the most unique point you can stand? For example, one thing I found that in whenever political organization is there, I would try to add this kind of point that I think there is a circumscription theory of Robert Carniero, and he has said that whenever tribes are there and they do warfare, if the space is there for the tribes to disperse, then state will not form. But if the space is restricted for the tribes, then state will form. If no space. So what I mean by this is that suppose this is South America, and there are some tribes here and there are some tribes here. So if the tribes are fighting here, they will, because Amazon is a plain area, so they will easily disperse, and that's why the concentration required for formation of state will not occur. So in this area, state formation has not occurred early. But if you see this area, because the Andes mountains are surrounding this area, you can find that many city states have developed in this area. So this is a very unique point, and such kind of points if you mention and draw a diagram, I think it is helpful.
And if we add these points in like very short form, then it's good, right? No need to explain them in 3-4 lines.
Yeah, if it is understandable by any person, there is no need to explain too much. And I would write in short form also many times, not like very short form, but in simple language I would write in concise manner.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
After that.
हेलो
Yes, please.
सर जैसे मतलब अभी मेंस है तो जैसे नोट्स कुछ बने नहीं हुए तो पेपर 2 के कुछ थोड़े बहुत पेपर 1 के, तो उनको पहले बनाना चाहिए मतलब अभी जैसे टाइम स्पेन पे, क्योंकि पूरा सिलेबस भी है, जीएस का भी है, ऐसे भी है, मतलब तो कैसे मैनेज किया जाए मतलब 90 days?
So try to cover the entire syllabus at least in some basic manner so that you can attempt all the questions and you can do some interconnections. Focus on paper 1. Paper 1 generally takes more time and paper 2 take less time. Tribals, general scorability I think in last 2 years has come down because like generic questions are being asked and almost all people are writing some or the other decent answer. So that's why highest of paper 2 is less than paper 1 because paper 1 you can showcase your knowledge more. So focus on paper 1 and paper 2, just try to complete and get a grasp of the problems of tribals because they're very similar in some aspect that if you know how to write few answers then I think you can manage tribal. So I don't think tribal India will take much time and it is manageable.
मतलब नोट्स बना लिया जाए क्या अभी, मतलब 10 से 15 दिन का जो नहीं छूटा हुआ है जो सिलेबस का पार्ट जिसका नोट नहीं है, मतलब प्रॉपर कंपाइल नहीं है, मतलब चीजें यार.
I think it
कि उसी
depends.
से
If notes are not done, generally note making does take time. So if you can revise some scattered sources, I think you should do that because time is very less for you.
हम
But if
मतलब
you
उससे भी पढ़ सकते हैं, जो सोर्स था उससे ही मतलब कहीं मार्क किया है तो उससे भी कर सकते हैं, या लिखे ना उसको,
so
टाइम
I
उसमें
think
लगता
that
है।
since you are writing mains this time, if time is limited, that is the only thing you can do, right? That is like a shortcut, but that is the thing you must do because time is less.
थैंक यू।
Within P and B, what was the timeline of activity for the subjects?
So I would study anthropology a lot, and I think almost 60% of the time I would spend on anthropology only. So 60% of the time I would spend, especially in initial phases, I would do anthropology more, write the test series, and try to complete my syllabus very fast. Especially in second attempt, I was very comfortable because like I think Jan 21, my first mains had in which I got 257. So I was happy with this that on my own I had got 257. It's a good, it's a okay kind of score. So then in February I had done Sir's batch, and almost 8 to 9 months I had only devoted to anthropology because in my mind I was crystal clear that I was not personally interested much in GS. I'm very good at prelims, but somehow for mains GS I found it to be little less interesting for me that all answers you write whatever you comes to your mind very fast. So I was more focused on studying anthropology. So 8-9 months I spent on anthropology. So when in October 21, when I had qualified prelims, I had got 135 in prelims, I think so, in this attempt. And I was very sure of clearing this, so I directly started anthropology. And since I had spent a lot of time, all my notes were ready, and I was just revising the notes a lot. I did not even write many tests. I think in first attempt I wrote maybe 5 tests, and this attempt maybe 6 tests. So only around 10 tests I have written. And if your notes are very good, there is not much need for you to write the test also, many tests. At least you should write before the exam for time management. But in these 3 months, almost 60% of the time still I had spent on anthropology. And GS test, I think I had only written 5 or 6 this time because like the basic hang I had gotten, and I was just wanted 400 marks in GS and basic marks in essay, and I thought interview and optional I'll do well. Optional I did not do well, otherwise I would have got rank 30 also. Sorry, interview I had not done well, I would have got rank 30, but optional since I did very well, that's why I got good rank. But optional, my focus was mainly on optional during this period. Yeah.
Should we try to cover steps in the focus on
23. Before the prelims exam, you must at least get a good grasp of your optional. So maybe 3 months before the prelims exam, if you complete that, is more than sufficient. 3 months is time is sufficient for doing prelims specific content.
Should we look to test series?
It's up to you. For example, if you opt for test, I think you should do part test in the sense that the syllabus wise parts you should do. For example, 1.1 to 1.4 is there for 1 week. If you study in this 1 week and see the discussion videos and do the validation, then you will be complete with this topic. So if you write 10 tests, then you will be going through entire syllabus once, right? And if you do it from 3 months period from main to prelims exam, that would be the second time. I think 2 validations is more than enough to get a very decent score. You can get 280 plus. So these 2 validations after doing the basic stuff.
Hello, sir.
So I'll one question and then I'll come to you.
Actually, we have a problem
Okay,
like
okay.
basically that if we get studied first time, we learn that after 5 to 6 days or something like after 1 week or 2 weeks, we get degraded about that. So what is the study of getting that?
Yeah. So I think I would also forget my notes a lot. For example, there is one diagram about zone that goes like this. There's TD, T1, T2. I think I have revised this at least 3-4 times, but still I was not able to remember properly. But try to, there's 2 ways for this. Either you draw the diagram on your own, or you make some shortcuts, TD 1, 2, 3, 4, and you remember the mnemonic, and you have to keep on revising. There is no excuse for revising. And also in chromosomal aberrations, this frequency I will not be able to remember, 1 out of 1800 or 1 out of 1500. I used to forget many times. So revision is the only thing, and you read, you will forget, you will read, you will forget. That is the only way. There is no shortcut, because I also forget. And I also really sad that I could not remember this before the exam.
I'm asking what are the mapping moment in 1 week or 15 days you revise those notes or like that?
So I think this question is slightly different in the sense that like when I would make notes, I would make according to me the best possible notes, and my notes would be done. So there is nothing else to do with these notes, right? I don't need to look anywhere. These notes are complete. And anthropology, if a question on Narmada man, if a question if a question on Narmada Man is asked, even if the question were to be asked 5 years later, the still answer would be same. So sir has dictated a perfect answer for Narmada Man, that it is the conclusion is that it is still an open question. So if you remember this answer and made it once, like for example, my notes on Narmada Man are exactly 2 pages, and if I have made the notes, I do not need to revise. I just need to revise for the sake of remembering it, not for the sake of re-understanding it. So one, that's the good thing about anthropology is that, like this topic you see, I don't need to touch this topic ever again because I have already done the hard work once and I have done the validation. I know that the features of it and I also know the style diagram, thick brow ridge, something like this. So if you do it once, then that is the end of it. Apart from remembering it, and remembering it takes time, but it is possible to do. Yeah, someone in the online wanted to ask one question.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I wanted to ask that you said in your talk that you were very fast in writing and you usually used to complete your paper. Sir, my biggest problem is I've completed my notes. I've revised Anthro twice at least till now, but I am still not able to complete the paper. And you said that one big reason is not remembering the answer. But I know that I remember the answer, sir. And I also do that scribbling practice you mentioned, but I still I'm not able to complete the paper on time, and I miss it by huge margin, like more than half an hour, 45 minutes at times when I write the complete paper. So can you suggest some practice, something to improve this writing speed and anything related to that, or whatever you did in daily answer writing, anything?
So I think that like even Akshat Jain has said that he would not be able to write 150 words in I think 7 minutes. So that's for 10 marker. So he would write 120 words of high quality. So I think that if someone's inherent speed is less, that they're not able to write very fast. And that is all right. That is perfectly all right. And I think he had mentioned that he had missed 2 or 3 questions in his both the papers. So and he still got very good marks. So if your inherent speed is slightly less, there's nothing to worry about it. You just write to the point of the paper. For example, if some question is asked, you do not beat around the bush and write generic points. You just simply get to the point and you write your points 3, 4 and try to. You can end it here also. There is no issue. Provided this much is dense content and appropriate content. So do not try to fill all the pages and write only the value addition points with some basic connectivity so that paragraph type answer is there with points.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
First of all, sir, many congratulations and thank you for sharing your insights. Sir, I want to ask that that 3 hours talk you are referring to, that L2A talk is not available on YouTube. Can you, sir, please make sure that it is uploaded on YouTube?
Yeah, it is going to be uploaded today or tomorrow, so it will be online.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, please tell.
Hello.
Yeah, I
Sir,
can
am I
hear you.
audible? Sir, I have 2 doubts. The first doubt is with respect to the presentation in optional versus GS. Like in GS, it is recommended to write in tabular form, hub and spoke model, and such kind of things. So in optional, should we go for that, or we should stick to content quality? We should focus more on that. And if we have to write a balanced way that presentation, and then where to draw the line, like how to decide where to stop so that we don't overdo it. And my second doubt is with respect to the value addition you were talking about. Sir, in the topics where sir has taught and given notes, did you used to go beyond that for value addition in those topics also? And if yes, then from where you used to know that which book to refer? That you used to ask from sir, or you used to see in Google and then surf it around yourself?
So what was the first question? I forgot.
The first question is with respect to presentation in GS. I mean the hub and spoke tabular and that. Where to draw the line so that we don't overdo it, or we should.
So I think the first question I generally say that I would ask the students, like, do you think more people get more marks in points or they get more marks in paragraphs? Which one do you think is the answer? So I have found that both people who write in points and both people who write in paragraph, both are given good marks. So it's up to you. You can choose either of them. And in anthropology, the formatting is not much different. It is like GS only. I would write majorly in points with some paragraph here, some paragraph in between, and again 3-4 points. Or if some question was like in argumentary format, for example, if a question was asked formalist versus substantivist, there is no making use of points like this. I would simply write in an argument format like this and conclude the answer. So depends on the question. And You can choose either one. It's up to you. When my mind felt like I should write in paragraph, I would write in paragraphs also. Some questions. It was up to me. But generally, I would write some paragraph, then few point 1, 2, 3, or something like this, and then another paragraph. It was completely up to me. There is no right answer for GS or Anthro. You can do whichever, and you will get marks if your content is good. Now, the second thing, with respect to value addition, what was the question?
Hello, sir. The question was that the topics, like you said, microevolution versus
Right.
macroevolution. Okay.
So, like, if sir has given some content, generally I would not, by rule, I would not do much validation apart from some one book or something. But if I were to go to PYQs, then I would have to find out the solution for some questions myself, and I would do the validation for them and find out the solution. But majorly, I found that I do not need much validation for sir's answers apart from 1 or 2 points, or where I found that some other insight is there that I can add myself based on my own intellect.
Okay, and so how did you realize that this is it where I have to stop in the value addition and not keep on adding more and more? I mean,
So, yeah, one exercise that you can take is that, for example, if you have a question on, let us say, Australopithecus. So this, let us say these are your notes. Just frame one question, for example, 20 marker and write it in 14 minutes. If you are able to include all the points, then I think, if you are not able to include all the points, I think that is the end of it.
okay,
Because
so
you will find that you are not able to include many of the points in your notes.
sir,
In the
like in
answer.
topics like society, culture, civilization, and in those kind of topics which are not very much, I mean, not crude, value addition is not available. So for those topics, I mean, did you used to, I mean, I would not say it waste of time, but did you used to invest time in finding more and more and stressing yourself that still there are not more points in it, still my answer is not different than others, or you just used to let it go, let some topics can be like
Yeah,
this also?
you're correct that in some topics like society and culture, and especially that 9.8, I think, infectious diseases, you do not find case studies for this easily. So,
Yes.
and 9.6 is such a beautiful chapter. I have found that in last 12 years, only one question has been asked on RH groups, and that also is a very simple question. So, I would skip 9.6 actually when I have prepared, apart from 3-4 questions. And whenever sir says to skip some topic, for example, I think in sir told in 9.1 that they generally ask twin studies or pedigree studies only. So I had only prepared these books, and all the rest of the things, the immunological, that biochemical, that karyotyping, all that thing I had not prepared because there is no time before the exam to revise all this. So I just revised these both, and if they were to come, I would have attempted that. So see, anything can be asked anywhere. So I think sir once said, if I tell to ignore Grimaldi and translate, but some people come and ask me, ये आ गया तो क्या होगा? So then sir will say, करो फिर जाके. So it is up to you.
And
But
sir,
this is, I think,
one more question. Yeah, sir, what was your strategy in the last 5 days of this gap for maybe during the mains? I mean, there is a gap between GS and optional for 5 days. So how did you use to manage? What was your strategy in that?
So, like between the 5 days, I would generally focus on revising my short notes and completing the syllabus. If like major questions, I would do. Some generalistic questions is that I would not do that. And I had short notes, some data page also had, so that also is revised. And generally try by Wednesday or Thursday to write 10 questions. For example, I had remembered on Wednesday or Friday, I had written some questions on theories, 4 or 5 questions on theories I had found, and I was able to complete the paper in very much good amount of time. So I was not much concerned that I am writing very fast. So you should at least write 5 or 10 questions and practice. And if your short notes are there, definitely it is helpful. But try to complete the syllabus. And Anthro can be completed in 5 days. You can complete Anthro in 5 days. It is a reasonable amount of time.
And sir, these short notes you're referring to, were they in question answer format, or I think topic wise you must have devised after?
Very, very short. For example, like I would write political organization as PO, social structure like this, and very short. So I try to upload them on my channel.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes.
Did you do any note making for prelims also, like for Lakshmikant or Spectrum? That's completely already in the summarized format.
So I didn't make notes for Lakshmikant, but I later found that it was not much helpful. So if it is a Spectrum or Lakshmikant, you can directly read from the book.
And sir, was integrated study helpful for mains or prelims, or segregated study?
So I read integrated manner only. So there is only one knowledge, right? And if you practice mock test, that becomes for prelims. If you practice written test, that becomes for mains. There is no separate preparation. Apart from some specific mains topics or some specific prelims topics, there is no different preparation. So I think my essay scores were like good in both the attempts, but I had not done anything specific. I had written 4-5 essays beforehand, and like some topics I had prepared and done the validation on them. I had not done anything much for essay. But I think you should focus on essay because from going to 110 to 140 in essay is much easier than doing it in GS. So I think people neglected it. I also neglected essay to some extent, I can say. Because I always, like this mains, I had a plan that I will write one essay every Sunday and I'll get very good marks in essay, but I had not followed it in this mains also.
So how to structure essay? How you structure your essay that you are going to write?
So I think I'll post this on my channel if you want, and you can refer it on our channel. Because I was not very spectacular in essay actually. So I feel that all of us should remain limited to our domain expertise. For example, in 2 attempts, like I can say that in GS1 I got less marks in both attempts. So first time I got 86 out of 80, yeah, it was 86 out of 250. Second attempt I got 89 out of 250. This time, in this paper I had written all in points format, all the things, and in this paper I had written 20 maps, but still I got less in both the attempts in GS, so I don't give any guidance for GS1.
How can you utilize anthropology in efficient way in GS?
There is no utilization much, apart from some question is asked on tribals. You can use it, but if a question is asked on tribal displacement, you can do SPACEA, FRA, all the data, but directly use is not there. The direct use is that it gives you marks in optional to get good scores.
Hello sir, my name is Shivani Kaushik. I want to ask that you have said that the probability of getting selected in first attempt is less, and in the second to fourth attempt it is more. So what can I do that I got selected in my first attempt itself?
So I think the single answer to that is that you should complete your optional before your prelims. If you do this, I think then the reason for people getting selected in second attempt, I think, is that they're not completing their optional. There's a fascination with GS that whoever prepares UPSC will prepare GS first and not optional. Especially you need a lot of preparation. If your optional is complete before your prelims, then the thing I mentioned will not apply to you. So that is essential. And GS actually optional weightage was much more than now it is. Even though now it is still most dominant factor. Before 2013, it was much more dominant because 2 options were there. So GS actually is very less in mains examination, even though it's UPSC general studies examination.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Sir, right now, before some time, you just mentioned some of the pointers for value addition, like case study, current affair, diagram, flowchart. Can you please repeat them once?
So this is there on my channel, Telegram channel, and if you see the channel, there is one post on this, and all the things I have just read out from them. So on the PG Telegram channel, it is there.
Okay.
And if sir allows, I think sir can maybe post the link also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, current.
Yes.
Sir,
Yeah, you can ask the question.
Sir, how did you started the GS answer writing? Like when did you started with a particular subject after completing a particular subject or whole syllabus?
So until I had qualified prelims, I had not even written one answer for GS. I had written some answers for optional, but not even one answer I had written for GS. The thing is that you need content for GS, and without knowing the content, you cannot write the answer. For example, people say that how will I write the answer if I don't write it now? Unless you know the content first, you will not be able to write the answer. For example, is Nehru report good or bad? Until you know the 11 or 12 provisions of Nehru report, you cannot write a good answer. So first, content is essential, and I feel that answer writing is slightly overrated skill. It is a reasonable skill that you can get with sufficient practice.
And sir, did you self-evaluated your answers or you just joined the test series besides vision?
So I think that, like, generally I think I write good answers. So for me the role of test series is limited. Like I would not get many answers checked from sir, because like I was confident about my answers that these are the things I have to include in my answers. But for some people who are not sure exactly, that I think test series is then helpful. But generally I was very confident about what I wrote. And it's not that I was blindly confident. If some input was there or I found that this answer is not good or not matching the demand, then I would completely change the answer. For example, I think for Australopithecus, I had written some notes.
Sir, I am asking about the general studies. How did you self-evaluated your answers?
Yeah, so I'll just come to that. So for Australopithecus, I had written some notes, and then first time I had done some edition, then rearranged the notes, and again second time I was not happy, so third time I had written, and I think now the notes are very good. With regard to general studies, I had written some. I think I had written general studies in first attempt. I had written 15 to 20 tests, and only 5 or 6 for optional. But this 15 to 20, I got reasonable idea that I'm getting a decent kind of score, so I was happy with that. I never wanted to be the topper of GS, so I was happy with that, and I would do self-evaluation only. The major thing is that I have found is that people don't revise the papers. For example, if your GS paper is there, and whichever thing you have got, the solution manual, some highlights are there, so you must add them in your notes and you should revise them. If you can do that, And if you cover this much, then you do not focus much on the comments, because the comments are, I think, I have not benefited much from the comments, I think so, because the comments are very standard. But learning, writing the answer, use your time management skills, and then if you see the answer sheet and remember the points and see the discussion also, it is helpful.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, what was your approach for economics? Because there is a lot many books and how to cover it.
I was really very good at economics. Yeah. So in prelims economics especially, I was very good, and GS3 also had not much. I had referred to Mrunal completely for economics, and I had referred to it. Only Mrunal I had followed. I had not even read anything else. If you follow Mrunal, I don't think you need to read NCERT also. So only Mrunal I had done.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. How have you prepared current affairs for GS and mains holistically?
So I think you want to be restricted to anthropology, or you want me to go to GS also?
GS also, sir.
So I think okay. So like I would actually read. I did not read any current affairs magazine because I found them to be very bulky. I did not like that. I could not complete the current affairs magazine. So I would read many websites, and I actually have a habit since childhood of following the news. So almost all the news I was aware of, and I used to follow that WhatsApp group. So I used to get notes from that, and I would never read the newspaper also, because I found it is not a good method for getting information, because now we are in the 21st century. In 1990, the only method for getting news was newspaper, but now when people are already doing the work for you, there is no need for reading the newspaper yourself. It is like inventing fire from the stones. So no need to do that. But I would read I would follow the news in the sense that I would watch all the news channels and all the YouTube channels for news, which are very famous, and I would follow Sir's WhatsApp group. And generally, I found that I have written 2 years, and I have not found that I have lost a question on current affairs. I was generally aware of all the news. And in the last 3-4 years, like from 2016, if you see, like the number of current questions are almost 30. But I think in the last 2 years, especially 2020 to 21, the rule of current, I think less than 10 questions are coming. And one more thing I found is that most of the questions on current are actually from static. So if something is in the news, they will ask the static questions on that. For example, if Prime Minister has visited some temple, they will ask when was the temple founded, who is the deity there. Not about the event, but the actual static part of the event. And static, my portion was reasonably completed, so I did not have much difficulty with it.
Sir? Okay, sir. So you are saying that stay aware of the topic, whatever is in the news, whether it's from the YouTube or Google or newspaper, whether whichever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have one question regarding.
I am not actually the best person to ask about GS, because the highest in GS is 504 and I have gotten 401. So I can give some insights about some topics, but I am not like the domain expert for GS.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir, can you please tell how many words you used to write for a 10 marker, 15 marker and 20 marker?
So
in anthropology.
I think I would write around 170 words for 15 marker or 270 words. I would always give 10 or 15 words more than what was required, and I would try to complete in the word limit. Sorry?
Answer 20 answer for 20 marker.
Whatever is the word limit, I would write always plus minus 20 words. I would stick to the word limit.
Optional. Actually, there is no word limit given in the question paper in anthropology optional. They are just pages. So, and that is why I'm asking that. Is there a thumb rule or sort of that?
That is actually the reference. If you go 50 words up or below, there's no harm in that. You can go either way. It's a personal choice. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sir.
1 second.
Thanks.
My phone.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, sir. Like I'm able to reduce that these are the important points. These are not so important points in case of technical subjects, like political. This is the irrelevant point. But I'm not able to do this in the anthropology. These are important points. I'm not like I've seen the top answers. I'm just like copy them if they are written. So I must include them.
So, like I gave the entire list of validation, right? Current affairs, contemporary things, thinkers, theoretical dimensions. You just see which of the following is matching in an answer with them, and those are the important points. Like whichever is unique or is requiring some name of some scholar, or it is non-generic. Non-generic in the sense tribes are having problem of education. That is a generic point. But 44% of tribals are below poverty line literacy. This is a specific point. So like that you have to identify.
It is important. It is important to make all the possible questions from the syllabus.
Sorry?
It is important to prepare all the possible questions from the syllabus.
At least from 2013 you must try to do it. If you can do before also, it is good. I had done from, I think, all the questions I had prepared. At least some idea I had about the answer.
Sir, initially when we started the coaching, the strategy was to complete the syllabus alongside the coaching, but like we are halfway through the coaching and it doesn't look like we are going to complete the syllabus. It is like giving additional 2 or 3 weeks along with this. Is it feasible or like should we keep the leftover syllabus not that?
So ideally, when you do a topic, you should actually try to complete that topic. But I think you can repeat the course if it is feasible for you. But when you do the topic for second time, I think you can manage with GS. But when you do for first time only, it is little tough. But second time, I think you can manage with GS.
Yes, because topics like biological and all of that, in the coaching it takes a week or something, but when we do it on our own, it takes a lot of time.
Okay. So you can do, I think you can manage, yeah.
In your interview, you said that you got the marks. Yes.
Yeah.
So they have asked some anthropology aspect.
So I don't think anthropology was asked in my second interview. In first interview, only 2 questions were there, like why did you take anthropology? But they were very simple questions, so not much anthropology. So I was hoping anthropology will be asked, but not much was asked.
So in an interview, if you try to take a extreme stand or in the ethical dilemma that they put, do you think that board accepts that or they avoid these type of answers?
It depends on if the issue is worth taking a stand, you can take the stand. Otherwise, it depends on the question, right? It isn't a general answer. And I think that primarily your focus should be on optional, in the sense that that is what decides your rank. And focus should be completely on optional and prelims, because prelims is tough, optional is tough. Rest of the things you can manage. Interview you can manage when the interview time comes, if you are reasonably. But if you need some preparation for interview, you should do beforehand, especially if you are really feeling a shy person.
You have relied on only on
Yes, sir.
the topic like theories.
No, theories I think I refer to other notes also. Okay. Like one Anthro group is there. They have one PDF on theories. I'll put it on my Telegram channel. Okay. I think I refer many sources. Many videos also I had seen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please elucidate how did you prepare thinkers, because it's a point of contention in the preparation.
So firstly, in the L2A talk, I think spent 45 minutes on theories. If you watch the L2A talk, then you will get an idea, because theories, archaeology and fossils, these 3 each I have spent 45 minutes. So you can watch that talk.
Sir, hello sir. Sir, hello sir.
And
Hello sir.
notes on theories, so you can directly refer to the theory notes. And I also don't remember my sources which I did from exactly. Yeah.
Hello sir. Sir, you said that you did the course, Vaids' course twice, and what was your approach both the times? And did you complete your basic notes before joining Vaids, or how did you?
Like I had some basic notes before I joined Vaids, but I think many aspects I had changed. That's why I said I wrote Astrologicus 3 times, and in the end I found that whatever I wrote was almost there in his 2 videos. So I would refer to him a lot, and if some syllabus topic was incomplete, then I would do that second time. If some syllabus topic was known to me, I would not attend it. I was comfortable with my notes, I would not attend it. But I had repeated the course also. Because I was having a lot of time, right? The exam got postponed because of COVID for 2021 also, and I only wanted to do anthropology, so I had a lot of time, and I liked anthropology, so I would do a lot of anthropology. That's why I said that I am not the right person to ask about GS, because I focus more on anthropology.
Hello, sir. Sir, what was your approach towards the prelims, because you scored quite well?
Yeah, so prelims I was in my channel I have posted everything on prelims. If you refer the channel, it is there in that. Because it is very technical discussion, and role of PYQ or previous questions also very high. You can just see my channel is there in that. In the initial post, it is there. I have given in detail.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask one question that if there is one linking question and we know only one part of the question in anthropology and we don't know the other part. So how to write answer for that? For example, I have seen one question like ethnocentrism and human rights. So
this is an easy question, right? In a sense.
Yes, sir, we have prepared ethnocentrism. So how to link it with human rights in paper 1 of anthropology?
Ethnocentrism is seeing the world from your own eyes. So maybe when you do that, then you are not respecting the human differences, and you might not be cautious towards the human rights of others. Something like this, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. What the process you have applied for the prelims in your first attempt?
The process I have applied, I have put on the Telegram channel. You can refer to the Telegram channel. Sure. Because it's the repetition of the same thing only, right? So, like, one more thing I found is that people ask me, tell what you have not told on the channel. But the answer is the same whether I tell on the channel or in real life.
चलो थक गए, बहुत हो गया. I'm not happy with the students who are appearing in mains. Your quality of questions is very poor. आपको चाहिए था सर से निकलवा लेते सब कुछ. Very shallow preparation it means you have for your mains. ठीक है, ये बच्चे तो चलो दे आर बिगिनर्स. पेपर 1 भी 70% हुआ है. You people are expected to by now fundamentals of everything of GS and optional and essay every should be there. You should have identified your weaknesses and you should have directly hit the questions. लेकिन सर ने जितना और जिस स्पीड से, अगर इस स्पीड से मैं क्लास में बोलूं तो 15 दिन में कोर्स खत्म हो जाए. ठीक है ना? बट वेरी ऑनेस्ट सिंसियर एडवाइस आई वुड से. फॉलो करेंगे तो. हाँ, अब हमारी प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जब शिवाजी की जयंती आती है तो सब लोग कहते हैं हमें उनका अनुसरण करना चाहिए, वी मस्ट फॉलो. गांधी जी की आती है तो उसका करना चाहिए, भगत सिंह की आती है तो उसका करना चाहिए. और गांधी और भगत सिंह दोनों एक साथ कैसे फॉलो करोगे भाई? है ना? But in the beginning when he said that he has already seen the videos of toppers, so he won't talk about that. ध्यान से इसको जरा सोचना. आपने अगर उनकी वीडियोस देखी हैं तो इट इज ए ग्रेट सप्लीमेंट फॉर दैट. 1 घंटे में एक्सप्लेन करना कोई बहुत is not that easy. So those of you who are appearing expecting to clear prelims, you are going to have your test soon. We'll discuss all those issues. मेरा ethnocentrism and human rights we had discussed in the class. Ethnocentrism, applied anthropology, human rights, action anthropology. सिंपल सी इक्वेशन थी. ये क्वेश्चन भी आने वाला है टेस्ट में, फिर भी नहीं आएगा आपको बताने के बाद हैं. चलो कोई बात नहीं. आई थिंक इट्स ग्रेट दैट अमित इज हियर एंड आई विश दैट नेक्स्ट टाइम इट इज योर टर्न टू बी हियर. आज तक सिर्फ एक ही बार हुआ है कि हमारे 3 टॉपर्स थे और तीनों एक साथ एक ही दिन बाई चांस दिल्ली में थे, अमित, अक्षय और. हाँ, कभी भी नहीं होता क्योंकि मोस्टली जो रिजल्ट आता है तो लोग घर में होते हैं और पिछले 2 साल से whenever it is online only. So after that it is for the first time that we are meeting somebody who has not only ideas but who has genuineness and honesty in his expression. बहुत कम होते हैं ऐसे. आमतौर पे जो IAS बन जाते हैं तो मैंने तो ये किया, मैंने तो वो किया. हाल तो यहाँ ये है कि हमारे स्टूडेंट से 10th रैंक आया, उनका जुबली हॉल में रहते थे. देयर वाज नो दिस फोन इंटरनेट फैसिलिटी. तो एक मैगजीन वाले इंटरव्यू लेने पहुंचे, उनको बोलते हैं सर 1 मिनट. और नीचे आके PCO से फ़ोन किया, सर ये पूछे आपने कौन सी किताबें पढ़ी. मैंने तो आपके नोट्स पढ़े और फोटोकॉपी पढ़ी है. फोटोकॉपी की किताब का नाम नहीं लिखा था, मैं क्या बताऊं. तो मैंने उसको 8-10 किताबें बोल दी. है नहीं तो लोग कहेंगे देखो ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि 10th रैंक आया और पढ़ा नहीं कुछ. ऐसा भी होता है. एंड रिगार्डिंग हिज विजन आफ्टर बिकमिंग सिविल सर्वेंट, एंथ्रोपोलॉजी जो भी पढ़ता है वैसे भी इंसान है तो इंसानियत होनी चाहिए. सिंपल सी बात है. ठीक है. सो आप सब लोगों को भी थैंक्स, लेकिन फाइनल थैंक्स तब होगा जब आप यहाँ बैठेंगे आके. हाँ,
सो आई कैन से थैंक यू टू यू सर. मैं आपको थैंक यू बोल सकता हूँ.
नहीं, मैं बोलूंगा ना जब ये लोग आएंगे तो फाइनल थैंक्स इनको बोलूंगा ना मैं.
जी सर.
ठीक है ना. आप तो जब कुछ करेंगे तो हम देखेंगे टीवी में, अखबारों में जब पढ़ेंगे तो फिर अच्छा लगेगा. आप लोग देखते हैं कभी टॉपर्स की वीडियोस, उनके जो फील्ड में जाने के बाद अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं कुछ.
सर ये काम की वीडियो नहीं देखते, सब रॉयल एंट्री की वीडियो देखते हैं.
नहीं, जितने भी हैं मतलब लोग अपना अपना जो है फील्ड की बनाते हैं वीडियोस. और कई लोग जो हैं, इफ यू कंपेयर विद द वे आई स्टार्टेड द इंस्टीट्यूट इन 85 एंड विद दिस जनरेशन इज मोर ऑनेस्ट इन परफॉर्मिंग देयर जॉब इन द UPSC इन सिविल सर्विस. ठीक है. तो आप लोग जो है आप रूल याद रखो, कीप योर मोटिवेशन लेवल हाई एंड कंसिस्टेंसी, बस हो जाएगा, सेलिब्रेट करेंगे अगले साल। ठीक है, थैंक यू ऑल। ठीक है, अमित सर को थैंक यू बोलो।
I hope you all found the session little useful. Maybe slightly, you can add little more.